everyone. I'm Janine, your host, and this is the Yarn and You Girl podcast. And this is my little channel where I talk about all the crafty things that I am working on. It's mostly knitting, so if you're into that, I'm glad you're here. Thank you so much. Sometimes I'll throw some other crafts in as well, like sewing, crochet, cross stitch, kind of whatever is striking my fancy. Mostly these days it's knitting with a little bit of cross stitch thrown in because that is what I'm excited about. I am a pharmacist by education and trade in my real life. And then I have this secondary fun life where I dye yarn now and design knitting projects and sell yarn in my online shop. So that's me in a little bit of a nutshell. And if you are a new viewer, thank you so much. If you are a returning viewer, thank you for hanging out with me again. I really enjoy this time I spend with you guys in, every couple weeks where I just get to share what I am doing and the exciting or not so exciting stuff that's happening in my life. I feel a little off today. I'll just give you guys fair warning. I am a week behind on my podcast and I'm in a different space, as you can tell. I just got back from the Sew Expo, or its long name is the Sewing and Stitchery Expo, up in Puyallup, Washington, where I had a little booth. I sold yarn and projects, and it went Thursday through Sunday, and it was quite exhausting, but a lot of fun. And so normally I would have podcast last week, but that was right during the middle of the show. And if you've ever done any of those shows, or if you've ever done any kind of bazaars or anything like that, it's insane. And I was the only person running the booth. Occasionally my husband popped in and brought me food, but that didn't happen on Thursday because he was still here with the kids. And it didn't happen on Friday until about late. So I think Thursday I lived off a apple and a protein bar for the entire day. And I swear I had bladder of steel because I did not go to the bathroom the entire day either. I was just go, lots of talking. It was a very successful show with a little surprise as well. So on Saturday, I was super busy in the booth and I was helping these customers in the front of the booth. And I turned around because I noticed there was a couple other customers in the back of the booth. And I only have a 10 by 10 booth because I don't have a lot of inventory to warrant like a bigger booth or to compensate for the bigger booth because it costs a lot to get a space at some of these festivals. So I just got myself a little 10 by 10 booth. And so it's kind of crowded in there. And there's a lot of people. And I turn around to say to these ladies, oh, I'll just be, how are you guys doing today? I'll be right with you. And they turned around and totally surprised me. It was Stephanie and Rebecca from the Mean Girls. They live in that area, and a couple times when I've gone up to Puyallup, I've reached out to them and said, hey, we should get together, at least have dinner or something. And it just didn't work out for whatever reason. So they stopped by. They surprised me so much. I think I squealed a little. And I was so nervous and awkward just because I kind of know them. It's weird. You feel like you know the people in the podcasts that you watch. You know their story. They tell you what's going on with them. And so you feel like you know them really well, yet you haven't really ever met them before. So we conversed online quite a bit, and they tested a shawl pattern for me that I did last year. So we've been online friends for a while, but we'd never met in person. So I felt a little awkward because I am such a dork when I first meet people. I'm loud and I'm obnoxious and I'm nervous and so I hope I didn't put you ladies off. I had so much fun. I was so touched that you came to my booth and visited. And so they spent a significant time in the booth just kind of hanging out. And I really wanted to spend more time with them. But then there was like 1,000 people, you know, and it was pretty crowded on Saturday. The whole show was huge. It was very successful, I think, for everyone who was there. There were so many amazing vendors, lots of sewing vendors, of course, because it's a sew expo, but quite a few yarn vendors this year as well. I did not get to see any of the booths. I was stuck in my little booth, but that was good. I did buy some fabric from the gal next to me because she was really nice, and she had some really great apparel fabric, and made me want to sew all the things, but that's not going to be happening for a while. But anyway, I had a really great time meeting the Mean Girls. They came in and visited, and then another viewer came in and visited me at the end of the day on Sunday. I think it was Sunday. Yes, on Sunday. So that was really cool too, to meet some people who said they'd watch, said they'd watch me on my podcast, or people that I knew on the internet, but not in real life. So it was good to see people at the show. I had a great, great time. And like I said, they surprised me. I had no idea they were coming. I had just posted that I was going to be there and this and that, and it worked out really well. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. And I hope they had a good time too. They did come back around, and I don't know, I looked for the video, but at one point, they were filming my husband and I in the booth and asking my husband all these questions, and he's so not a cameraman at all. He was like, they're like, you should do a podcast with Janine and come on and, going on and on about all this stuff. And I'm like, yeah, he could talk about football and all the football stuff to like hit the guy market, and then I could talk about all the knitting, and the wives and, husbands and wives could like watch the show together. But he's like, yeah, not in a million years. I would not ever do that. He just isn't interested in doing that at all. And I swear he literally ran away from their little Instagram video that they were doing. And he sent me a text message. He's like, I know you have to eat and I know you have to go to the bathroom, but tell me when the cameras are off and I'll come back and, man the booth for you when the cameras are off. So it was really funny. He was just like a deer in headlights in front of those cameras, you guys. So I was cracking up because it really put him, out of his comfort zone, which is good because he needs to get out of his comfort zone sometimes. So yeah, he was great. He helped me in the booth when, I needed to go eat or, run to the restroom or whatever. And he has no idea and knows nothing about yarn. And the first couple times I left him in a booth alone, he sat in the corner and played on his phone. He works in retail business he's a pharmacist also, and we talk to people all day long, and you have to be nice to people all day long. So he has good customer service skills. He knows you're supposed to say, hey, how you doing? Like, come on in, like, welcome to my booth kind of thing. And so I had to kind of give him a lecture one day. I was like, dude, at least say hi. Like, I know you don't know any of this stuff, but he would like hide in the corner because he was afraid people would ask him questions. And now he's gotten to the point where he's like, I have one question. Do you knit? Do you crochet? And so he'll ask that question to kind of get these people talking, but he doesn't have, if they start asking him technical questions about the yarn or the pattern or what weight is this or what fiber content is this, it just is a completely over his head, and he just kind of like has this like freaked out look on his face, and he's like, my wife will be right back. So I was joking about, we were talking about getting him a shirt that said like, don't ask me, my wife will be right back kind of thing that he could wear in the booth, so that people would know, he's there, to help if need be, but he doesn't really have the answers. So it was so fun. I had a great time. I was very exhausted when I got back, and I had to work. So I had Monday off, and then I had to work on Tuesday, and Tuesday at my real job was like a crazy job, crazy day. It was just crazy. Super busy, and we're short-staffed, and then anyway, so that's like, in a nutshell. I did get to go and see The Sound of Music on Wednesday with my brother, which my brother is my younger brother. He goes and buys season tickets to all the Broadway musicals that come through Portland. And in the past, he's only had 2 seats. Well, the couple that used to sit next to him was an older couple. The wife like dragged her husband there. He was never really interested in going. And I swear my brother said every time that they would go, he would fall asleep during the show. And so he ended up buying their tickets. So now he has 4 tickets. And the rest of us family kind of buy the extra tickets from him throughout the season and see whichever shows that we want. So I took my mom as my date on Wednesday, and we went to dinner with my brother and his girlfriend and went and saw the Sound of Music musical at the Keller Auditorium in Portland. And that was really fun. It was kind of hard not to compare the musical and the singing to the movie. The movie was one of my favorite movies growing up. My sister and I would watch the video, rewind it, and watch it again. And we would just keep watching it over and over again. We knew all the songs by heart, you know, all the little inflections, all the little parts. And then every year in choir, our music teacher would play The Sound of Music for us, either during, like, if she had a substitute coming in or something. I mean, it would be movie day and we'd be watching The Sound of Music. So it was very normal growing up. And so Julie Andrews, to me, was an amazing Maria. And this girl, she did a great job. The nun who played the main... it's blowing my... I can't even think right now. But the main nun who sings Climb Every Mountain, when she sang that song, I was literally blown away at the theater on Wednesday. I got the chills. She did the most amazing version of that. So she did a very good job. Captain Von Trapp, you know, he was okay. I wasn't super thrilled with him. I really like Christopher Plummer, and I really like Julie Andrews as their, you know, counterparts. So anyway, it was a good show, and it was a lot of fun. And we went to go to a really nice restaurant, and my brother's always really great and takes us out. So anyway, long tangent about what's been happening and why I haven't been podcasting lately. I realized that has nothing to do with any knitting. I know. Well, some of it did. But anyway, on to the knitting content. And I have a little bit. Like I said, with the show, I didn't get as much knitting done as I'd like. But I did finish something, and it is what I'm wearing. This is... I don't even think you guys saw this cast on. This is Scelte. The Scelte, I think it's just called Scelte. Scelte or something. I'll put it down on the bottom of the video. It's by Lynn Christina. I did a triangle shawl of hers, and this is a worsted weight cowl. It's done in, excuse me, I have a frog in my throat. Anzula, the For Better or Worsted, which is a 80-10-10, so 80 merino, 10 cashmere, 10 nylon blend. And the color is charcoal for the gray, petals for the pink, and saffron for the gold. And I really wanted to get this done because I carry Anzula For Better or Worsted in my shop, and I wanted to have a sample knit in it because I didn't have a sample to show anybody. And I had seen this pattern, used this particular yarn. I'd gone on Ravelry and looked up Anzula For Better or Worsted and found this pattern. And I really would have never thought to put these 3 colors together normally, but I love them together. I love the gold and the pink and the black. It's just fantastic. And the gold and the black, makes me want to do a brioche hat with these two. Oh, that'd be so awesome. But yeah, so I really enjoy doing it. It's very easy. It is a pay-for pattern. And it has a couple different options, which is nice. It had a single skein option for a single color. It had a double skein option, so if you wanted to do a 2-color cowl, and then it had the 3-color cowl. I wanted the 3-color cowl because I like big cowls. I like to be able to wrap it around my neck multiple times. And so that's what this one is. It's the 3-color one. I have not blocked it yet because I wanted to finish it for the show. And I literally finished it. I wanted to finish it Thursday morning, but I did not get a chance to. So I finished it Thursday night and had it for the show on Friday. But again, it has not been blocked. And I have just had it with my stuff upstairs waiting you know, till the next show, because I do have another show coming up in Portland here in April. So the Quilt Craft and Sewing Festival is coming to Portland in April, and I'm going to have a booth there. And I'm very excited about that one because it means I don't have to rent a place to stay. It means I can make multiple trips if I need to get the yarn and the display set up. Because I have a Suburban, it carries a lot of stuff, but yarn takes up a lot of space. And I don't know about you, but I like, when I go into a yarn store, I want the walls packed with yarn. I want like overflowing yarn, because if it's bare, I feel like there isn't anything there. So I want to bring all the yarn in and pack it in my little 10 by 10 space, which, you know, gets a little tight sometimes. So it's tight in the Suburban. It was funny because we had to take 2 cars to get up to Puyallup. We borrowed my brother-in-law's van, and we did fit everything that we were coming home with in the Suburban, as long as I didn't have my luggage, as long as we didn't have any extra yarn. And it was so packed, like I couldn't see behind me. So thank goodness for backup cameras and side view sensors and stuff, because I couldn't see behind me at all. And there was no extra room for any extra stuff at all. So it'll be nice just going across the river, and, you know, I can drop off a few things. I can come back if I need to, drop off a few things, etc. So I think that will be great, and that's in April. But I need to dye way more of my hand-dyed yarn. That went very quickly at the show. I was so excited about that too. I come up with some new colorways. I put them out there. You know, I didn't have a lot of quantities of each color. I just had like maybe 1 or 2 of each color, because I'm still just getting started and trying to figure out what the, you know, what people want, and also trying to determine or develop repeatable colorways for people. So that went though very quickly. So I've got a lot more yarn coming. It should be here actually today, and I'm going to be dyeing up like crazy in the next couple weeks. I do have a couple people, I have not forgotten about you, that I saw at the Sew Expo that I told that I would dye some stuff for. I will definitely be getting that as soon as possible. So as soon as the yarn comes, that is like what I am doing. Yours will be the first to be dyed. So anyway, that is my one finished object. The Scelte by Lynn to Christina, and it's a really, really easy, repeatable, like, or memorizable pattern. So if you like the cowl, you should definitely check out that pattern. I enjoyed it. So that is all I have for finished objects. My nail polish matches my water bottle. Can you tell I really like this color? It's my favorite. So anyway, let's see. On to works in progress. I showed you guys a long time ago a sock I was working on. I was working on it the last show I was at. It's just my tweed base. This is this purple color. It's a 3x1 rib. I worked on that a little bit. I'm down to the toe, and I just don't want to work on it because it's just plain and it's not exciting. But it was good for the show. So I brought that with me on Thursday, and I worked on the foot, and I got all the way down to the toe, and I just have to do the toe now. And then on Friday, like a dum-dum, I thought I could totally bring my Zweig, I can't even say that, Zweig sweater, however you say, and work on that while I was, you know, running the booth. Sure, it's not that complicated, and yeah, it wasn't gonna happen. I was in the middle of a cable row. I decided to do the pattern. I know a lot of people have been doing, once they get past the color yoke, let me pull it up so I can show you guys what I'm talking about. Once they get past the color portion, a lot of people have just been doing plain stockinette, which that's great, but I liked the detail of the little textured little mini cables that she has. So I wanted to do those. And, oh, that's the back. Let's go to the front. So I was, as you can see, it's got the little cabled bits. So I was in the middle of one of these cabled rows when I took it with me. And while I can cable without a cable needle, I cannot do this without paying attention, like at least that row. Once I got to the actual stockinette row, the plain row between, it would be fine, but I was in the middle of that row and there was just no way. So this is my Zweig sweater. It is in Baah, La Jolla, which is a fingering weight, 100% superwash merino, something I have in the shop. I carry lots of colorways. I love their yarn so much. It is very versatile. It is 100% superwash merino. There's no nylon in it, but it is has a really nice twist and really good for all your fingering weight projects. Lots of good color stuff going on here and lots of great like semi-solid tonals that she has. So I wanted to have that so that I could work on it because, again, it was yarn that I was featuring at the show. But that didn't work. So what I did is I just kind of laid the sweater out so that people could see it and see what I was working on and see that this is yarn, you know, up on the wall. But yeah, there wasn't any way that I could do anything with this on Friday. Now, Friday was a little slower than Thursday. And so there were part of the time where I was just kind of standing around doing nothing. And because I was a dum-dum and only brought this, I didn't have anything to work on. So I grabbed one of my skeins of yarn and grabbed some needles. And I had my Swift and my ball winder because if somebody needs me to wind their stuff, I will do it. I wasn't offering it because I was only the one person and it was a crazy show. But there were a few people that came in that I had helped at other shows that knew that I wound yarn for them before. And so if they asked me, I totally did it. I didn't have a problem with that at all. So I wound myself up some yarn and I had 2 skeins of this colorway. It's and as soon as I started, it was slow. It'd been slow for like an hour. And as soon as I started winding up the yarn, somebody was like, "Where is that yarn?" And I'm like, "Well, I have one more, only one more, you know, in the bucket here." Anytime you say, "Oh, that's the last one," I mean, people just jump right on it. No, no, it was so interesting. It was such an experiment because it was like, oh, in the skein, it looks really pretty too, but when you start winding it up and you start showing it off, people want that. They want the stuff that you knit with. So that was super exciting. So I busted out that yarn. I split it into 2 50-gram balls and started some socks. Now, I decided I would just do some cuff down, like Hermiones everyday socks, because those are easy. I like a little bit of texture in my socks. I can keep the pattern going just fine when I'm talking to people because it's not hard to know when to do my purl stitch. Plus, it helped me to show people how I purl because they would be asking me questions and I'm like, how do you do that? Also, how I do magic loop, because people would look and they would see, oh, you have, what are you doing there? And I've only seen it done on double points. And so I would show them how magic loop works. At first, I just had one cuff cast on. And so I did that cuff. Basically, I just did the cuff on Friday. And then I cast on the second cuff on Saturday. And then once I had both cuffs, I put them on 2 at a time. So this is my Cantaloupe and Roses colorway on my sparkle base, which is the rock and roll base. It's a 80, no, wait, can't remember. I should know this. 75 superwash merino, 20 nylon, and 5 silver stellina. Cantaloupe and Roses. And I just got, you know, I'm just this far, but they're going well. I'm enjoying this colorway a lot. This is kind of like my palette lately, it looks like. Oranges and pinks, and there's kind of like a gray purple in there. It's very, very cool color. That's it in the ball with the stellina. And I swear, the sparkle yarn, like sparkle makes all the colors look good. I think Michelle and Leslie were talking about that on the Naughty Knitwits podcast the other day about how the color just looks better on sparkle. Like sparkle does something to the yarn, and I am all about the sparkle these days. I'm just drawn to it. It's so fun and little slightly glittery, and so I'm very excited for these socks. And yeah, I'm working on them. I wasn't in a sock place, but I needed something better than my sweater to be working on. So this is Hermione's everyday sock. I'm probably going to just do a Fish Lips Kiss heel on this because I'm doing them 2 at a time, and I find heel flap and gusset 2 at a time a little fiddly. And I am doing them on a ChowGoo US size 1 red lace circular needle. So that is my work in progress there. And I showed you guys my Zweig sweater already. That's kind of all the knitting. It's not a lot. I haven't worked at all on anything else. I've been really trying to focus on that sweater, and I didn't want to cast on socks. I finished this, and so this took up a lot of time, or a lot of my knitting time, because it's pretty big. And I wanted to finish this for the show so that I had it. So this has been took up a lot of time, and the sweater took up a lot of time. And there wasn't a lot of time for anything else. But that's okay, because sometimes that's what you do. You just work on what you're working on. I do have some cross-stitch stuff that I want to show you guys. I have been working on that Be Joyful cross-stitch, and honestly, there's not a whole lot extra here that I've done. I finally finished the flower, but what I really wanted to show you guys, so I extended the branch, I did some more leaves, but I really wanted to show you guys this. I got a super cute needle minder from Floss Candy on Etsy, and so I got this one, and it's just adorable. And I got a second one for my other cross-stitch project that I started too, because, you know, who doesn't need a cute little magnet like this? I mean, it's adorable. So this is on Ada cloth. My other cross-stitch project I ordered is on a linen, and I've not done, this is literally my first cross-stitch project ever. So Ada cloth is way easy to see where to put your needle. The linen one, not so much. There's a different weave to the fabric, and so you have to like figure out, you know, there's a different way to do it. And it's not as easy, but I ordered, I think I told you guys this last time, I ordered the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery sampler for this year, Into the Jungle, and I don't have very much going on right now. I just have the face of the January's little sloth guy kind of that I'm working on. But yeah, the stitches aren't as easy. It's not as easy to see where the needle needs to go here. So I'm hoping I'm doing an okay job with it. But see, this is my other little needle minder. I mean, look at that egg sushi. So cute. So cute. But I really, really like this pattern. She is sending it, they are sending out, like, it's a square, it'll be like a rectangle, and then I'm filling it in here. I want to be working on this a little bit. I might do some today because it's nice and bright, which is another thing, I swear, with cross stitch. I'm going to go blind. I really need good lighting for this. And I'm over 40 now, so, oh, I had a birthday, guys. I had a birthday since I last saw you, so I turned 41. I am now officially into my 40s. But anyway, so my eyes are going with this kind of stuff, but it's super cute. I'm very excited, and she sends out a clue every month on the 1st, and so this is just January's clue. I'm a little behind, but I'm doing the best I can because I want to finish this one too. I don't want to let this one languish, and this one's actually close, I think. Like, I have to do the bird. There's like a couple more flowers up here, so I was working my way up there and doing the leaves. And then There's the rest of the word. So it's coming along. That's gonna be good. So those are my 2 cross stitch projects that I am working on. And I probably should work on this one because, you know, this is the one that I've been working on first. And that other one, you know, I can just take my time with. So those are the 2 cross stitch projects that I'm working on. And you got to see my cute little needle minders. So those were fun. Again, I got those at Floss Candy on Etsy. And I'm keeping my cross stitch, guys, in my big giant Bags by Awesome Granny. At least my circle, my one on the hoop, it fits really nice in here. And my Q-snap, or whatever you call this thing, which I'm not sure I'm keen on it yet. I feel like it's a really big thing to hold. And I kind of liked the hoop because I had a small hoop, and then I could just work on that little bitty section. But this is nice because I can work on a larger area at one time. So this one, way too big to fit in my Bags by Awesome Granny, but not the hoop. So that's where that's been going. So this other one's just kind of laying about. And pardon me, I have to bend down and reach all the things. I caught a shop update by Cat Sandwich Fibers, which I think that's what it's called. Yeah, Cat Sandwich Fibers, which I was very excited about. I seriously was home one day and happened to see on Instagram that she was doing an update, and I've heard about her yarn before, and I really wanted to try to get my hands on some. And so I was like, well, I'm home. I'll just set my alarm and I'll get on the computer and then I can, you know, just snag something right away. I don't even think I looked at colors very much. It was a vague, ooh, that's pretty, buy. Ooh, that's pretty, buy, because I did not want to get do the whole cart jack thing. But I was very pleasantly surprised at how they turned out, and the ones I actually did pick I thought were cute. Now, they both say they're on a stellina base, but I don't think that that is true. I think this one might have a mislabel. I mean, it does look like there might be a little bit of sparkle like in there, but it's so so subtle. It's not at all like the other one. It's gonna blow out a little bit, but this one is Unicorn Dreams. It's like this light peachy pink and pale mint, kind of cotton candy-esque, and then it's got little speckly bits throughout in different places. And so it says it's the glitzy base, but it doesn't look like it, especially when I remember them being different prices. So I think this was like whatever her main base is, which I don't know what that's called, because this one definitely is sparkly, and this is, so you can really see the sparkle there. This is for sure her glitzy base, and this is chiffon dress, and this is really pretty too. So I am so excited about both of these. I have no idea what they're going to be, but for now they're just going to be sitting in my stash and being lovely, because that is what they are. Lovely, lovely yarn. So I was very excited about that. And yeah, short episode today. I do want to talk to you guys a little bit about something that has been going on in my life that I haven't really talked about before, and I might get kind of emotional about it, but I wanted to mention it because it is something that I'm dealing with. And that is the fact that my mother is having some memory problems, and pretty, in my opinion, what I think are pretty significant memory problems, where she's having a lot of trouble articulating. She is asking the same questions over and over again. And I've been noticing this for a couple years. And she's also one of those people that she's difficult to approach because she gets really defensive and when you say something to her. So all of us kids were kind of like how do we say that we love her, but we really think she needs to see somebody? So I had approached her a couple times and, you know, just said, I really love you. I want you to be around for as long as possible. I think this is something that we need to be addressing. And I think she kind of was blowing it off quite a bit because she's still functioning. But you can tell there's lots of problems with her articulation. And that's what she will tell the doctor when she goes into the appointments. Oh, I would just sometimes have trouble finding the right word for what I'm trying to say. But it's not just that. It's a lot of different things. And her father had Alzheimer's I remember when, you know, he was right kind of before he passed away. I think I was 18 when he passed away. And he, you know, would wander and nobody knew where he was. You know, he couldn't remember at the end. He couldn't remember his, you know, names of people and things like that. And I remember it being really hard. So, you know, I worry that it's a genetic thing too. I mean, I worry for myself also. But I'm mostly worried right now about her. And so finally, after a couple years of noticing symptoms, she and my dad, and I would talk to my dad, and my dad's a very passive guy. He doesn't like to rock the boat. He's really always, I mean, she's always been the one who kind of like ran the family. And so he just kind of goes with it, but he's getting to the point where he's super frustrated because, you know, I mean, it's a natural response to get extremely frustrated when somebody asks you the same question over and over again and you've already answered them 10 times and they keep asking you the question. I mean, I know I get frustrated when my kids ask me the same question over and over again. So it's totally normal response, but he was struggling with it. He's been struggling with it. And you know, he got kind of upset with her and was like, you know, yelled at her recently. And I think that's what kind of brought this all to a head. It was like, we need to get you to a doctor. You need to go. So I'm very excited because they called me on Monday and they said, okay, we really want to talk to you about what's happening with Mom. And so I was like, oh my gosh, yes, thank you, because we need to stop tiptoeing around this. You know, I don't have power of attorney. I can't like make appointments for her and take her in. You know, with all the privacy laws, you can't get information from doctor's offices and all that stuff. And I get that. Like, I work in the healthcare field. I know that. So I don't have any control over what happens. I could just make recommendations. And at one point, when she first moved here to Vancouver, I was trying to help her find a doctor. And she was going to go see this doctor. And I called and I said, here's what's going on. I would just appreciate, like, you don't have to tell me what happens. I just want you guys to know that this is what I'm observing. And I want you guys to at least do a screening of some sort. And they did at the time. My dad had gone with her and they did do a screening. And so apparently, you know, she did the screening just fine. But anyway, so she's made an appointment for next Wednesday and they want me to go with her. And I'm, like I said, I'm very excited about going. I'm going to be an emotional wreck because anytime I go to a doctor's office and start talking about my health or my family's health, like, the waterworks come on. As you can see, it's hard enough for me. I'm just sharing this with you guys, but I wanted to share it with you guys because it's something that a lot of people deal with, and you might be dealing with it too. There are support groups out there too for people. Sorry, you guys. There are support groups out there for people who are dealing with parents or family members who are having problems with this. I am such an ugly crier. And I just wanted to share that because I didn't really think about it either. And my dad didn't really know how to reach out or if there would be help. And so if you're struggling with somebody who is having memory problems, there are places that you can go to get free information on how to deal with them and how to deal with what's happening to your loved one. So I just wanted to share that with you guys because it's going to make hopefully a huge difference. And the problem with these kinds of memory diseases is there's no reversal. There's no cure. And the sooner you get medication and the sooner you get treatment, the less your disease will progress, the slower the progression of the disease is. If you go for a really long time and you don't have any treatment, there's no going back. There's no fixing what you've already lost. So I feel like I've already lost a little bit of my mom. And I just wanted to share with you guys so that if you're dealing with something like that, don't be afraid to speak up, reach out to those support groups that are in your area, and, hopefully you'll be able to get some help. So anyway, that's my little community service. This is part of the reason, guys, my whole emotional, this is part of the reason I don't talk about myself a lot, because I have two emotions. I have happy, cheerful Janine, and then Janine crying. And Janine crying is all the other emotions. I cry when I'm angry. I cry when I'm sad. I cry when I'm anything in between. So if I'm frustrated, it's so funny. So anyway, that's part of the reason why I kind of avoid talking about what's happening in my life unless it's something good. But we don't always have good things that happen in our life. We have stuff that's just real and stuff that just happens. And I just wanted you guys to know what's been going on. And like I said, if you're having struggle, if you're having problems, there's places. I mean, I found a nonprofit organization here in Vancouver that totally will help you with any level, to deal with any level of dementia, and just give you tips and ideas on how to handle those situations that come up, because they are frustrating. And the worst part is the person that you love, they don't know that they're doing it. They don't know that they've asked you, this thing 10 times already. And all they see is you're getting angry with them. And that's totally normal response. It's totally normal frustration to feel why aren't you listening to me? But it's not that. It's not that at all. So anyway, yeah, lots of crazy going on. But very happy that she's finally seeing a doctor about it, and I'm glad to go, because I worry that when she does go, what she will say is kind of play it down, and it's at this point we can't play it down. We need to be doing something about it. So anyway, yeah, so that's what's happening in my world. You guys are great. I hope you enjoyed the show. Sorry for the emotional, stuff happening at the end here. And I hope that you'll come back and watch me my next episode and see what I've been making and see what I've been doing. And if you have any questions for me, be sure to go over to the Ravelry group, which is the Yarn and You Girl podcast group, or you can ask me questions in the YouTube thread. That's fine too. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.